Well, once upon a time, our little old Burford house started out as a simple affair. We would even be visited by Peaky the peacock, who would come up on our patio, and Donald the Reeves pheasant, who still comes to this very day. Unfortunately, though, in no time at all, the base went rotten, and then, horror of all horrors, the unthinkable happened. We were invaded by rats. Just one to begin with, but one was enough. Then another one appeared, so there were two. And it was no good. The birds came no more, because the rats ate their food, and they came at all hours of the day and night. So I devised a cunning plan. There was nothing for it. I had to invent a rat-proof bird feeder. But how was I going to do this? Good question. Firstly, though, I needed to reconstruct the original bird table. So I built a multi-story version with 2 tiers, and the birds loved it. But I needed to make a rat-proof base. So I grabbed a couple of 40-litre plant pots, brown plastic they were, filled the bottom one with ballast, i.e. rocks and stone and rubble I had lying about, turned the top one upside down, placed it on top, put 2 screws in it, and voila, I had a base that rats couldn't climb up because it was going to be too slippery. But, shock and horror yet again, because our little patio is so tiny, the rats managed to jump off structures such as the fence or the potting table, and they were back on the table again, eating the food. Well, there was actually only one of them this time. I was so incensed I banged hard on the patio glass, and he scarpered immediately. It frightened the living bejeebers out of him, and he didn't come back. So the semi-rat-proof bird feeder actually lived on happily ever after, all the way through the autumn, into the winter, over Christmas, through the snow, by which time I'd had to rebuild the feeding deck once again because it had gone rotten due to the damp weather over the winter period, and it was now reduced to a single-storey dwelling. Thankfully, there were no more rats, but when the spring came, it was time to build the ultimate Mark 24 version of a bird feeder that was going to be rat-proof forever. And this is what I came up with. Neither a beggar nor a borrower be. So once again, using materials I had kicking around the house, I set about building a base. I then wired this wrought iron base to the 2 pieces of timber. Then I picked up a 3.5 foot length of drain pipe I had kicking around, 3-inch diameter. I cut 2 pieces of batten, which I screwed together, and I placed that down the middle so that it was slightly longer. Then I slipped the drain pipe into the wrought iron base and secured the 3 clamps to hold it together. I screwed a small London bracket to either side of the batten that I'd put down the inside of the drain pipe, and then managed to poke another London bracket down either side, so there were 4 in total inside the drain pipe, in order to hold another piece of decking, an offcut of decking, which would act as a base to support the main table. Having cut out the centre section of a trifle bowl, plastic container that is, fruit cocktail, and very nice it was too, I then slid that over the drain pipe. Next, I screwed the London brackets to the underside of the offcut of decking that was to support the base for the bird table. I constructed the table base from 2 lengthy pieces of feather edge board. You choose the length you want yourself to have, depending on how wide and how long you actually want the table area to be. I joined these together with 2 pieces of batten, which was slightly short of the width. Then I put 2 lengths of batten, which were the full length of the feather edge board, in order to act as stops to prevent food from falling off. Then I attached the bird table roof and pillars to the base of the table with 4 screws. Et voila! There you have it, my new rat-proof bird table. This particular bird table actually isn't brand new because I've taken it apart, semi-taken it apart in order to show you how I've constructed it. But it's been successful. It's been in working order for probably about 8, 9, 10 months maybe. Thus it is proven to work. However, it will only work if you leave it in a place that's far enough away from obstacles, structures that rats can jump off or onto in order to get on it. So as long as there's space around it, a rat won't be able to climb the actual drain pipe. So there you have it, folks. A practical, simple way to build a bird table that will hopefully be rat-proof and simple to clean. Just 4 screws to take it apart, to wash it down every now and again, and replace the timber, which won't cost you very much money either. And the concrete blocks or bricks on the base are purely and simply for ballast, to give it extra weight so it doesn't topple over in a high wind. It shouldn't do if you keep the weight low to the ground anyway. And you can always adorn these with plant pots, as we have, and put a couple of hooks underneath the bird table base itself, so that you can hang things from it like another little bird table, as we have, and some wind chimes. And as you can probably see, no sooner have I got this one back in position and up and running than the birds are already coming in. Happy feeding, folks.